Welcome to all. In this video, we will see about Southern blotting. Southern blotting is the process of size-based separation of DNA molecules by agarose gel electrophoresis, then permanently fix into a solid support such as nylon or PVDF or nitrocellulose membrane and detect the presence or absence of our target DNA sequence of interest through hybridization with radioactive labeled or non-radioactive labeled probes. This method is first described by E. M. Southern in the year 1975. He published his report in the Journal of Molecular Biology in the year 1975. The Southern blotting involves three major principles. After extracting the genomic DNA, we have to make it small fragments by restriction enzyme digestion, then separate the DNA molecules by DNA gel electrophoresis. The next step is we have to permanently immobilize these resolved gels in the agarose gel into a solid membrane support. Once it is immobilized, then it is incubated with radio-labeled or dye-based probes and detect the presence or absence of specific DNA sequence is the third step. Now we will see the basic mechanism underlying these three steps. The first one is gel electrophoresis. This is performed to separate the DNA molecules according to their size. So the genomic DNA is extracted and digested with restriction enzymes to make them fragments. Then it's subjected to agarose gel electrophoresis. If the DNA fragments of our interest is very small, we can go for SDS page. But it is rarely used for Southern blotting. For Southern blotting, mostly agarose gel electrophoresis is used for the size separation. So once it is resolved in the agarose gel, next step is we have to immobilize. For that purpose, the gel is transferred to a solid support membrane. That means the DNA present in the gel is horizontally transferred to a solid support. In general, three types of membranes are used for this kind of transfer and capturing the DNA molecules. Most commonly used membrane and have more advantageous membrane is nylon membrane. Other than this, nitrocellulose membrane also used and PVDF membrane also used in modern days. Each membrane have some of its own advantages and some disadvantages. And the nylon membrane is made up of anionic, so it have strong interaction with DNA molecules and it can efficiently capture the DNA. And generally three methods are followed to transfer the DNA in the agarose gel membrane into the membranes. The first method is more classical method, that is called capillary method, and remaining two methods are electrophoresis based. One is wet electrotransfer method, another one is semi-dry electrotransfer method. Once the DNA is transferred into membrane, it can be stored in deep freezer such as -20 degree or -80 degree Celsius for a long time period. Now we will see the transfer methods. The more classical and commonly followed method for Southern blotting is capillary transfer method of the transferring DNA to membrane. Here we can recover more than 90 to 99% of the DNA present in the agarose gel and we can immobilize and we can use it for our experimental purpose. Here the gel is soaked in the alkaline solution to denature the DNA molecules, then neutralize this denatured DNA in a tris NaCl solutions. After that, we take a big container and filled with the buffer solutions. This buffer solution we can use same gel running buffer or we can use slight alkaline solution with NaOH and NaCl. Then inside the container, a raised platform is placed, then over which the pre-soaked long filter papers are placed. 2 or 3 pieces of filter papers are placed. These filter papers should be pre-wetted in the transfer membrane. After that, we have to place the 3 sets of thick filter papers or filter pads that also pre-soaked in the transfer buffer, over which the gel is placed. Above the gel, the hybridization membrane, most commonly nylon membrane, is placed. Then over it, 2 or 3 thick filter paper or filter pads that too pre-soaked are carefully placed. Then with the help of a small cylindrical structure, we can carefully move and remove any kind of air bubbles that interlocked in between the gel and the membranes. Then above which dry filter papers are stacked up to 10 to 15 or even 20 centimeter height. So just we can fold the towel paper or filter paper and we can place them one by one, in the top of which we can place a weight approximately 800 gram to 1 kg. Then we leave this structure for overnight, or we can keep it entire weekend period. During this time, the dry filter paper present in the top of the region can absorb the water molecules or buffer present in the gel to the up. During this time, the DNA molecules also moving up. When DNA molecules moving up contact with the membrane have strong affinity with DNA molecules. It can tightly capture the DNA molecules. So likewise, step by step, the DNA molecules present in the gel is moving up and tightly bind with the membrane. So this is the basic principle for capillary transfer method. This method is a classical one and still it is more efficient and it will give good result for the Southern blotting, and many people likes to perform classical capillary transfer method. Another advantage is it doesn't require any specific instrument to perform the transfer process. So now we will see the advantages and disadvantages of the capillary transfer. As we discussed, it is a classical method and it have greater transfer efficiency. But sometimes the fragments more than 1 kb size are not more efficiently transferred by capillary method. So in such cases, we have to perform some pre-treatment of the gel, that is called depurinator. After the completion of electrophoresis and denaturation, soak the gel in the acidic solution, then kept in slight salt or alkaline solution for depurination. This will make fragmentation and efficient transfer of DNA. And another disadvantage of this method is the time consumption. It will take overnight transfer, that means at least 16 hours, or it requires weekend. The another two methods are based on electrophoresis. So here what we do is, in between two electrodes, gel and membrane sandwich are placed. Generally gel is placed in negative electrode side and membrane is present in positive electrode side. So the negatively charged nucleotides are moving towards the membrane present in the positive electrode side, and once it contact the membrane, it capture the nucleotides with high affinity. And here the same electrophoresis principle is applicable. Two types of methods are there. One is wet transfer. Here the gel, membrane and filter pads are completely submerged in the buffer and the two electrodes are present in the buffer between these. And in case of semi-dry transfer method, instead of complete submergence, here wet membranes, wet filter papers, filter pads are used, and the wet filter paper sandwich the gel and the membrane. The negative electrode present in the gel side, positive electrode present in the membrane side. When electricity is supplied, the transfer will take place. The wet transfer will takes 1 hour to 4 hours time, and semi-dry transfer takes only 5 to 20 minutes. So the key advantage of this method is it requires very less time consumption. The disadvantage is we require specific or special instrument and electricity supply to perform the transfer. So once we efficiently transfer, if we use nitrocellulose membrane to capture the DNA, it should be baked in 80 degrees Celsius oven for 2 hours to permanent fixing the DNA in the membrane. If we use nylon membrane, it should be exposed to UV rays for permanent fixing of the DNA membrane, and this process is called UV cross-linking. So once we completed and permanently fix the DNA, the membrane is incubated with the probes, which may be radioactive or non-radioactive fluorescent labeled probes, and these probes are generally complementary to the sequence of interest we want to detect. In addition, we add another reagent called blocking agent, which is to prevent the non-specific binding of the probe. Salmon or herring sperm DNA is used to prevent the background or non-specific binding. So after the completion of incubation, the excess probes are washed with saline sodium citrate, popularly known as SSC buffer, for detection. So once washed after the probe incubation, last step is we have to detect the presence or absence of our DNA sequence of interest. If we use radio-labeled probes such as P32 and expose it to a X-ray film, and by using autoradiography techniques, we can detect the presence or absence of band. The non-radioactive fluorescent labels can be detected by Chemidoc apparatus or by exposing the membranes to X-ray sheet and perform autoradiography techniques. So now we will see some of the applications of Southern blotting. Southern blotting helps to detect a specific DNA in the sample, and it helps to identify sequence specific to virus, bacteria and pathogen specific infections, and it is a efficient tool to isolate specific DNA in the genetic engineering process, and it helps to diagnose the disease or disorder associated with DNA mutation and gene rearrangements. Southern blotting is used in phylogenetic studies, and it is used in DNA fingerprinting and forensic science for identification of parents and siblings, and also it is useful in crime scene, and it is used in RFLP marker analysis procedures, and restriction mapping is used for DNA methylation studies. In addition, Southern blotting helps to detect the copy number of a gene or DNA fragment. The alternative tool PCR unable to detect the copy number as efficient as Southern blotting. Thank you.